Welcome friends. The next part is atmosphere or atmospheric pollution. Atmosphere that surrounds the earth and it is not have same thickness at all the altitudes, and the atmosphere is divided into categories like from the upper surface of the earth. Atmosphere is divided into four categories. The first region is troposphere, second one is stratosphere, next is mesosphere, and the last one is thermosphere, where higher temperature is present. Almost all from 10 kilometers approximate distance from the sea level, the first layer of the atmosphere is said to be the troposphere, and 10 to 50 kilometers in between, the second layer is said to be the stratosphere, and the next is 50 to 85, almost all some 35 kilometers range is maintained by the other layer is said to be the mesosphere. The last one from 85 to 500 kilometers distance from the sea level, the next layer is said to be the thermosphere. Collection of these all spheres related information is studied under the heading of atmosphere. That is, atmosphere surrounds the earth and is not the same thickness at all the altitudes. Here it maintains some different density. Here it maintains some other different densities. So therefore thickness of atmosphere is not same in the entire atmospheric region. Whereas the first layer, troposphere, the lowest region of the atmosphere where humans and the other living organisms survive is said to be the troposphere. Whereas it extends approximately up to some 11 kilometers from the sea level, and it is homogeneous because there is always some constant circulation of the air is present, and density of the air, pressure as well as temperature is decreasing as altitude from the sea level goes on increasing. The second layer in the atmosphere is the stratosphere. Whereas the stratosphere, almost all it is present at a distance of 11 kilometers to 50 kilometers from the sea level. Whereas ozone is the main constituent of this particular layer. Ozone protects the earth from the very high energy containing electromagnetic radiation, whereas it just traps the UV radiation and the higher electromagnetic energy containing radiations. It allows visible and the near UV and infrared radiation to fall on the earth. Whereas CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, when reaches to this particular layer, they disturbs the ozone, they destroys the ozone towards the oxygen. As a result, ozone concentration decreases. Then the harmful electromagnetic radiation will reach to the earth. If it continues, then what happens is long-term global hazards will be happening. The global warming is due to this particular deflections present in the ozone. So at a whole, the second layer in the atmosphere, which is ranging from 11 to 50 kilometers in between, is the stratosphere. Ozone is the main constituent and it absorbs the harmful UV radiation coming from the sun. When CFCs reaches to this particular layer, that destroys the ozone. As a result, the UV radiation falls on the earth and it may cause long-term global hazards. Mesosphere, the third layer of the atmosphere. Sound waves cannot propagate in this layer, and here with increasing of altitude, similar to that of the troposphere, the temperature goes on decreasing. And the last layer, that is thermosphere, because it maintains higher temperature. Hence, on behalf of this particular maintenance of high temperature, this particular layer is known as thermosphere. Whereas in this region, temperature increases with increasing of altitude and reaches to the maximum value of 1473 kelvins. And here the atmosphere gases, which are especially of nitrogen and the nitrogen oxides and the oxygen, after absorbing lot of amount of available thermal energy, they are present in the corresponding ionic state. They undergo ionization, and in the form of ions they are present by the absorption of the solar radiations coming from the highest intensity containing sun of the thermosphere. Now let us go for the air pollutants or the air pollution. Air pollutants are majorly of two varieties. one of them are gaseous pollutants and second of them are particulate pollutants. Whereas important pollutants related to the gases are oxides of carbon, that is carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, oxides of sulfur, sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, nitrous oxide as well as the nitric oxide, hydrocarbons like methane as well as the butane. Along with these CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, freons and the ozone. These are all are the gases air pollutants. Along with these, particulate air pollutants are also present, and important particulate air pollutants are smoke, that is smoke plus fog combination, and metal particulates like lead as well as the mercury particulates, and organic pollutants like agrochemicals and the sulfurated organic chemicals and the biocides, etc. Along with these, dust particles are also responsible for the air pollution. The first important air pollutant is oxides of carbon. In that, the first important is once again carbon monoxide. Related to the carbon monoxide, let us have a discussion. It is produced by the incomplete oxidation of the carbon compounds, and majority of the carbon monoxide is produced from the automobiles exhaust, and it is also produced by incomplete combustion of coal, fireworks as well as petrol, and by the partial oxidation of organic compounds like methane, ethane, butane, etc. That is carbon on reaction with insufficient amount of oxygen leads to the formation of carbon monoxide. Here the limiting reagent is oxygen, because if excess oxygen is there, it forms carbon dioxide, but it is stopped in the mid to form carbon monoxide. Similarly, methane with limited supply of oxygen leads to the formation of carbon monoxide. Thus, organic compounds on reaction with limited supply of oxygen leads to the formation of carbon monoxide. And here the major carbon monoxide is released by the automobile exhaust, and it is approximately of 80%. The acceptable level of carbon monoxide under normal conditions is 9 ppm, but under metropolitan cities with the peak hours of the traffic, it may reaches up to 50 to 100 ppm also. Now we will discuss the effect of carbon monoxide over the human health. Yes, the next part is effect of carbon monoxide. Oxygen generally combines with hemoglobin and forms oxyhemoglobin, which is a less stable complex. When it reaches to the muscle, once again it is going to be released in the form of free oxygen as well as the hemoglobin. But whereas when carbon dioxide comes towards the oxyhemoglobin, then it replaces the oxygen and forms a stable carboxyhemoglobin complex. Whereas it is more stable, almost all it is 300 times more stable compared to the oxyhemoglobin. Once carboxyhemoglobin is formed, as being it is stable, the total hemoglobin is blacked. Now the supply, the carrier for the oxygen from lungs to the muscles is not possible because no hemoglobin is free. Whereas as a result of hemoglobin loses its oxygen carrying capacity, when the concentration of carbon monoxide reaches to 3 to 4%. Whereas the oxygen carrying capacity greatly reduces, this may leads to headache, weakness, weak eyesight, nervousness as well as cardiovascular disorders. Whereas excess concentrations of carbon monoxide even also leads to giddiness, and under extreme conditions he may go under coma, and it may lead to death also. Whereas in pregnant women of having habit of smoking, the carbon monoxide percent in the blood goes on increasing. As a result of continuous smoking habit, or as the result of excess concentrations of the carbon monoxide in the blood of pregnant women, it may lead to premature birth. Otherwise, the spontaneous abortions will take place, and even if birth takes place, deformed baby formation is having a lot of chance. These are all are effects of carbon monoxide. CO, carbon monoxide, carbon and the oxygen. One carbon and the one oxygen combination is said to be the carbon monoxide. The second important oxides of the carbon is carbon dioxide. It is released due to respiration as well as burning of the fossil fuels, and in the cement industries to get the calcium oxide quicklime by burning of the calcium carbonate, large amount of carbon dioxide is released and also released from the volcanic eruptions, and it is confined to the troposphere only, and it is approximately of 0.03% of volume in the entire available atmospheric gases. And here the major increment of concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is due to deforestation and the increased use of the fossil fuels. As a result, if the more amount of concentration of carbon dioxide increases in the atmosphere, as a consequence, as a result of that one, global warming will increase. Yes, the next are the oxides of nitrogen as well as the sulfur. Important nitrogen oxides are nitric oxide, nitrous oxide as well as the nitrogen dioxide. These are released due to burning of the fossil fuels. Whereas up to 10 ppm of nitrogen oxides does not affect the plant, but above 10 ppm what happens is the photosynthesis is not performed with the active rate, and NO2 it is causing the lung irritant, whereas in the respiratory disease in children is due to the nitrogen dioxide. Even textiles as well as the fibers can also be affected by the concentrations of the nitrogen dioxide. And the nitrogen oxide, nitric oxide, we can say this nitric oxide coming from the supersonic jets enters into the stratosphere, directly combines with the ozone, and that leads to the formation of oxygen followed by nitrogen dioxide. Even nitrogen dioxide also once again reduces the ozone towards the oxygen followed by nitrogen dioxide, nitric oxide. Thus the depletion of the ozone layer caused due to the nitrogen oxides. The second one is sulfur. The important sulfur related harmful oxide is sulfur dioxide, whereas sulfur dioxide in smaller concentration also causes a lot many effects. That is, it causes the respiratory diseases, asthma, bronchitis, and also emphysema in case of human beings, and more than 50% ppm of the 50 ppm of the sulfur dioxide may lead to death also. Leaf effects of the plants will become generally present in green in color, is converted to yellow in color, photosynthesis becomes very difficult, stiffness of the flower buds can happen, and even it can fall off from the plant. Whereas the oxides of sulfur as well as the nitrogen oxides present with the excess concentration in the atmosphere, in rainy season they combine with the rainy water. As a result, as being these are non-metallic oxides, which are having of acidic in nature, on hydrolysis, that rain is having acidic in nature, hence that rains are said to be the acidic rains or acid rains. Here acid rain formation is due to this non-metal oxides of nitrogen oxides as well as the sulfur related oxide, that is sulfur dioxide. The next is chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. These are the chemical combinations of carbon, fluorine as well as the chlorine. Under the trade name, these are known as freons, generally used as refrigerants, propellants for the directing of the jets, solvents for the organic components, and foaming agents also. Whereas these are not having any kind of color as well as the odor. These are stable in troposphere for decades of time together, but when they enter into the stratosphere, then they decompose due to high electromagnetic radiations, due to high energy containing electromagnetic radiation. These chlorofluorocarbons can be converted as the chlorine radicals also. These chlorine radicals are responsible for the depletion in the ozone layer, combines with the ozone. As a result, they can be converted to chlorine monoxide radicals. This chlorine monoxide radical once again converted to chlorine radical followed by the oxygen. Thus, overall what happens is ozone is converted to oxygen. This prevention of the ozone deflection can be done, and it is experimentally observed that this chlorine monoxide radical on reaction with nitrogen dioxide, it forms a neutral compound, that is chloroxynitrite. Similarly, chlorine radical on reaction with methane also forms a less reactive methyl radical followed by HCl. Thus, deflection of ozone can be prevented. When sunlight returns on the spring, what happens is whatever the chlorine and the water combination leads to the formation of hypochlorous acid. This decomposes in presence of sunlight of higher electromagnetic radiation energy, and it is converted to OH radical followed by Cl radical. Similarly, chlorine also in presence of sunlight is converted to chlorine radicals. Thus, the initiation starts for the depletion of the ozone. Hydrocarbons. Among the hydrocarbons, methane is present in large quantities in nature, whereas organic matter or the biomass, when degrades, that leads to the formation of hydrocarbons, especially methane is resulted. Automobile smoke is also consisting mixture of hydrocarbons, and a hydrocarbon benzopyrene is responsible for the cancer related diseases, that is, it is said to be carcinogenic, which is coming from the automobile exhaust. And hydrocarbons are harmful to plants and can damage the tissues present in the plants also. Even the higher concentrations and the long exposure of hydrocarbons, plants long exposure of hydrocarbons may lead to shielding of leaves, flowers as well as twigs also. Yes, the second variety of the air pollutants are, except the gases, the second part of the pollutants are particulate pollutants. And the particulate air pollutants, these are minute solids or the solid particles or the liquid droplets present in the atmosphere, present in the air. These are categorized into two varieties. One is viable and second one is non-viable. Viable are having livingness, non-viable are not having any kind of livingness. Whereas segregation of this viable and non-viable in such a way that yes, these particular particulate air pollutants are present in the vehicle emissions, smoke from the fires, dust to ash from the industries, etc., and categorized into viable as well as non-viable. Viable categories are bacteria, fungi, molds, algae, which are of smaller in size or belonging to the category of particular in size. These are viable. Non-viable are generally smoke particles, dust particles, mist, as well as fumes are examples for the non-viable. Whereas the first variety, smoke. Smoke is consisting solid or the mixture of solids as well as liquid particles formed during the combustion of the organic matter. Whereas the dust particles, minute dust particles, solid particles are present which are having diameter greater than 1 micrometer. These are formed by crushing, grinding, attributing of the solid, and the stone blasting, sand blasting, woodworks, pulverization of the coal, as well as in cement industries, fly ashes from the industries and the factories, and the dust storms. These are all are consisting of the dust particles which are belonging to the category of the particulates of the air, particulates of the air pollution. The other two varieties of the particulates are mist followed by the fumes. In case of mist are produced by the particles of spray liquid, otherwise by the condensation of vapor in air. Sulfuric acid mist, herbicides, insecticides, because they miss the target and travel through the air and forms the mist. And second one is fumes. These are obtained by condensation of vapor, either by during sublimation, distillation or the boiling. Generally, organic solvents, metals, metal oxides forms fumes, fuming particles. The effect of particulate pollution depends on the size of the particle, whereas the airborne particles such as dust, fumes, mist, etc. are dangerous for the human life also. Particulates of greater than 5 microns in size are likely to be large in the nostril passage, whereas particles of size approximately of 1 micron can enter into the lungs and causes a lot of problems. And the lead is the major particle pollutant present in Indian cities, and which is coming from the exhaust of the vehicles, because what we are using, that petrol is consisting of leaded petrol. So therefore it interferes with the development and the maturation of the red blood cells. Now India is getting rid of the lead petrol, and now non-lead petrol is used because lead is causing a lot of problems in the growth of the young children. Next is smoke. Smoke is combination of smoke as well as the fog. That is, smoke and fog combination results into a new pollutant that is said to be smoke, and the smoke is divided into two categories. One is classical smoke and second one is photochemical smoke. Classical smoke does not include any kind of photochemical reaction, any kind of photochemical energy consumption, whereas the photochemical smoke formation occurs due to the photochemical energy. Whereas classical smoke occurs in cool as well as the humid climates. Combination of smoke, fog followed by sulfur dioxide is generally present. Sulfur dioxide undergoes oxidation, hence it is acting as reducing agent, hence it is said to be the reducing mixture as well as reduction smoke also. London smoke is example for the classical smoke, which is reducing smoke. Whereas the second variety, that is photochemical smoke, which occurs in dry as well as the warm conditions, that is sunny climate conditions, results from the unsaturated hydrocarbons to nitrogen oxides, especially higher nitrogen oxides like nitrogen pentoxide. In presence of photochemical conditions forms the photochemical smoke, and here it is having higher oxides which can undergo reduction, hence it is acting as oxidizing agent, hence it is known as oxidizing mixture and also known as oxidizing smoke. Next one is formation of photochemical smoke. On burning of the fossil fuels, we will be getting many varieties of the byproducts and the products. Some of them are unsaturated hydrocarbons followed by nitric oxide can also be obtained. This obtained nitric oxide, when these two unsaturated hydrocarbons are the unburnt hydrocarbons and the nitric oxide generated when reaches towards the optimum level of concentration, then chain reactions occurs under the atmospheric conditions, and that leads to the formation of photochemical smoke. Whereas normally what happens is this nitric oxide undergoes oxidation with the atmospheric available oxygen and it is converted to nitrogen dioxide. This nitrogen dioxide under photochemical condition, it is converted to nitric oxide followed by nascent oxygen. This nascent oxygen combines with the atmospheric oxygen and establishes an equilibrium in the formation of ozone. Whereas this ozone as well as the formed ozone readily reacts with the nitric oxide formed in the reaction number 2 and forms corresponding oxygen followed by the nitrogen dioxide. This nitrogen dioxide is a fuming, that is fuming gas, brown colored gas, whereas the optimum concentration of nitrogen dioxide in the atmosphere leads to the formation of haze, that is invisibility, little invisibility in the atmospheric conditions. This formed ozone as well as the nitrogen dioxides are acting as oxidizing agents because it is having source of oxygen. It is also approximately maintaining somewhat higher oxidation state, and they readily combines with the unburnt hydrocarbons exhausted from the automobiles, and they leads to the formation of photochemical smoke. Suppose unburnt hydrocarbons and reaction with ozone, suppose methane and reaction with ozone, that may leads to the formation of formaldehyde, acraldehyde, even some more unburnt hydrocarbons and reaction with the nitrogen dioxide, that leads to the formation of peroxyacetyl nitrate formation takes place. This is said to be the secondary pollutant and which is responsible for the photochemical smoke. Next is effects of photochemical smoke. The photochemical smoke is consisting of the chemicals like ozone, nitric oxide, acrolein, that is acraldehyde, formaldehyde followed by peroxyacetyl nitrate. This particular portion is acetyl and this is nitrate, NO3 minus, and oxygen is there, hence peroxyacetyl nitrate. Ozone and the PAN combination, suppose if these two are there, any combination, and all these combinations are said to be the smoke. Whereas majorly when ozone and the PAN is present, that is acting as a eye irritant, whereas ozone and the nitric oxide is there, this causes the nose and the throat irritant, and higher concentrations of ozone and the nitric oxide leads to the formation of, leads to the headache, chest pain, dryness in the throat,
cough, followed by breathing difficulties, etc. Overall, the photochemical smog leads to the cracking of rubber, damage to the plant life, corrosion of metals to stones to building material, rubber, as well as the painted surfaces. Yes, to reduce the photochemical smog, the primary precursors are to be reduced because it is a secondary pollutant and it is formed by the combination of the primary pollutants under appropriate conditions. If we reduce the primary pollutants, then the formation of photochemical smog will reduces. So the primary precursors like nitrogen dioxide as well as the hydrocarbons are to be reduced. In order to reduce these, the major source of these two is automobile exhaust. So therefore, in the exhaust of the automobiles, catalytical converters are to be used. By using these catalytical converters, total hydrocarbons will be combusted and the consumption of the hydrocarbons will take place. Moreover, in the catalytical chambers of the exhaust, the nitrogen oxides are undergoes oxidation and they are converted to nitrogen gas and something others, water molecules, etc. So therefore, catalytical converters are used in the automobile exhaust, which reduces the release of hydrocarbons as well as the nitric oxide. And certain plants can also take the nitrogen oxides as metabolites. So such kind of plants like Pinus, Juniperus, and the Quercus, Pyrus, and the Vitis, etc. are having nitrogen oxides as their in their food system. So therefore, such kind of plants are to be trees are to be planted. Thereby, the atmospheric primary precursors responsible for the formation of photochemical smog are reduced. And moreover, another one important cause for the PON formation, otherwise the photochemical smog formation, is industrial accidents. If you reduce the industrial accidents, then the photochemical smog is also reduced. Next is hazards of the air pollution. The sulfur dioxide present in the atmosphere combines with the oxygen and it is converted to sulfur trioxide. The sulfur trioxide on reaction with water, it is converted to sulfuric acid. This is rainwater. Similarly, nitrogen dioxide combines with the oxygen and forms the higher nitrogen oxides, that is nitrogen pentoxide. This nitrogen pentoxide on reaction with the water of rain, it is converted to nitric acid. Thus, whatever the rainwater is there, this rainwater is now contaminated with the acid contents like sulfuric acid as well as the nitric acid. In general, the rainwater maintains the pH in between 5 and 6. Whereas, with the addition of these particular acids, the pH value decreases, more amount of H+, free H+ is present in the rainwater, and such a rain is said to be the acidic rain. As a result of this acidic rain, the soil nature changes, soil fertility changes, the lifetime of buildings like Taj Mahal, the historical buildings are also changes, the stone lifetime also decreases, and the stone features are also changes, appearance of the stone also changes, that is said to be the stone leprosy. River water as well as the groundwater gets acidified and it affects the aquatic life as well as animal life, and due to this rainwater, all animal, aquatic as well as the plant life is also getting affected. Yes, greenhouse effect and the global warming. Whereas the earth surface is getting heated due to the rays coming from the sun, whereas all varieties of rays comes to the surface of the earth, whereas all higher wavelength containing rays, when they reaches to the earth surface, some of them are taken by the earth and most of them are reflected into the atmosphere. Whereas those reflected rays, in them, some of them are once again rebacked towards the earth surface, thus heat balance is maintained. Generally what happens is, all longer wavelengths comes towards the earth, earth reflects the all varieties of radiations. The blanket of air, that is blanket of gases present over the surface of the air in the form of carbon dioxide, nitric oxide, nitrogen dioxide, methane, ozone, water vapor, chlorofluorocarbons, re-reflects the lengthy waves of the infrared radiation towards the earth, thus the temperature is maintained. But once the concentration of these gases increases, especially carbon dioxide increases, then what happens is the re-radiation, re-reflecting of the higher wavelength containing electromagnetic radiation will increases. As a result, temperature in the universe, temperature in the globe increases. That particular effect is said to be the global warming. Due to this global warming, what happens is whole temperature increases. Due to increasing of temperature, ice melts and the water evaporation increases a lot. As a result, the untimely rain, hurricanes followed by the cyclones may be possible. Agri sector is getting affected a lot, and it can be prevented by providing the sinks for the carbon dioxide, that is plantation, or followed by the forestation techniques can be done, where carbon dioxide used as a material, and it can be conformed to, and it can be formed to other compounds like carbohydrates for the plant synthesis and the plant growth. Like these systems can prevent the global warming. And once again, another one important thing to prevent the global warming is, whereas in case of global warming, what happens is the blue-green algae present in the sea also get extinct due to water pollution. This should be prevented. Due to this, what happens is water pollution decreases, more concentration of carbon dioxide is dissolved in the water. As a result, the water is acting as a good source for the carbon dioxide. Due to this particular process also, to certain extent, the global warming condition can be reduced. Yes, deflection of ozone. Ozone is present in the stratosphere, whereas ozone prevents the harmful radiations of high energy from the sun. That is, UV radiation is stopped, and except UV, near UV and the remaining all other lower energy radiation will comes to the surface of the earth. That is, oxygen under these UV radiation conditions is converted to nascent oxygen. This nascent oxygen recombines with the oxygen molecule, leads to the formation of ozone. But this ozone is getting deflected by the freons, chlorofluorocarbons and volcanic gases, and the nitric oxide that is generated from the superjets as well as the burning of the fossil fuels. As a result of deflection of this ozone layer, that leads to the its corresponding effects over the photosynthesis. The rate of photosynthesis decreases. It leads to skin diseases, skin cancers will come. Similarly, eye cataract will also result due to this ozone depletion. And also there is, in western countries nowadays, there is no sunbaths. That is due to ultraviolet radiation coming due to deflection of the ozone. And the fish production is also decreases because the ultraviolet radiation kills the phytoplanktons, and as a result it affects the effects on the plant protein, evaporation on the surface of the moisture present on the evaporation of the surfaces, and also evaporation of the surface water decreases the moisture content on the surface of the plants, to animals, to humans, etc. It damages even the paints as well as the fibers also. These are the effects related to that of the deflection in the ozone. Prevention. The ozone deflection can be prevented by reducing the CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, which are used as refrigerants. And moreover, in painting industry, for the spraying of paints, these chlorofluorocarbons are used as solvents. And we are now going for the alternative techniques. Except using of the chlorofluorocarbons, other chemicals which are non-deflectors of the ozone, depleters of ozone, can be used. As a result, the concentrations of the chlorofluorocarbons in the atmosphere decreases, thus the depletion of ozone can be reduced.